Hello. This is Beverly Payne and Payne and Simple Makes. Thanks for joining me today. I have a really neat card project for you today. We're going to make a slider card. You probably have all the materials you need. You need cardstock, white cardstock, some pattern paper, stamps and ink, or you could use die cuts. But if you use stamps and ink, you're probably going to want to use some colored pencils or markers, and then some double-sided tape or glue. So first off, you will need to cut your cardstock to size. Now if you go over to my website, you can download the paper sizing and the cut files and things like that if you want to use a cutting machine. But you'll cut everything to size, so you're going to cut a card base, and I work in batches usually, so in this project I am making 3 cards, so I'll cut all of my card bases and then all of my other pieces for however many cards I intend to make. So cut your card base. You'll need to cut your accent paper, and that accent paper really is going to cover half of your card base. You'll fold your card base in half. Your accent paper will cover half of that. You'll cut an insert pocket frame, and then you'll cut the insert panel. That's the card that's going to slide. You're also going to need a small piece about a 1/2 inch wide, and I would start with like 6 inches. This will help you with the slider card piece, and honestly, I just went to my scrap box and pulled something out. So once you have all your pieces cut, you're going to need to score them. So you can see that I'm scoring the base in half, and I'm just using this bone folder with this scoring board. So I will score each of my bases in half so that I can fold them, and I'll have a nice card that way. So you're also going to score your pocket frame, and you're going to score it on 3 sides. So your 2 long sides and then 1 short side. And you'll score these at about a 1/2 inch from the edge. I'm still working on scoring my bases here, but you'll see what I'm talking about with your pocket insert in just a minute, or not your insert, but your pocket frame. So be sure and visit beverlypayne.com. I've written a whole blog post about this project, and then while you're there, you can also check out the Maker Library and pull down these files that you might need to help you with this project. So this is the first time I've used a scoring board. I've wanted one for a long time, and I finally broke down and purchased one, but I think I'm really going to like using it. So here I am scoring the pocket frame, and so this is a long side. I'm scoring at a 1/2 inch from the edge, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm scoring the short side at a 1/2 inch, and this is going to become the left side of my card actually. And I just do this 2 or 3 times just to make sure that I get a good score mark there. It just helps with a neater card, I think, a neater finished project. So now I'm going to be scoring the other long side, again 1/2 inch from the edge. You're also going to want to take some type of punch and cut a little pull space on that right hand side, that side you don't score. This is so you can easily pull that insert out. Now, one thing that I haven't shown you is that I'm using stamps, a stamp set, several stamp sets actually, and I stamped all of my images on white cardstock, and then I colored them. I use colored pencils, but if you're stamping, you can use markers or whatever you want. I'm not actually showing you that step because most of us know how to stamp and color, but the coloring, to be honest with you, took a really, really long time. So I didn't figure you wanted to watch me color for that long. Okay, so you're going to, on these pocket frame pieces, cut the back left corner to remove the bulk. This is where the score lines intersect. So you just want to remove those, just trim them up. You can use scissors, it's not a big thing. And then you want to fold all the score lines. And once you start folding, you'll see how this pocket is coming to be. And then I use a bone folder to go over those edges. And this just helps me to get really crisp edges on my folds. And I just, like I said before, I just think it makes for a neater looking card. So I try to be particular about this. You don't have to do this at all. You can just fold and, fold those with your fingers and be done with it. But I like to use something to give me a crisp edge. If you don't have a bone folder, it's no big deal. You could use a ruler, a straight edge. I have used actually expired health insurance cards that are made out of that hard plastic, like credit cards are made out of. Anything with a nice edge, a nice hard edge like that will work. It does, take a little bit of time, but it's well worth it in the end. All right, this is really important. You've got to cut a line in this pocket folder so that your insert will, or your image will move when you pull on the insert. So I used a smaller photo paper cutter, but you can use a ruler and a rotary cutter. That works fine. The important thing is to line it up. And I started the cut about a 1/2 inch from the left side, and then I ended it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch on the right side. These measurements work for all 3 of my cards, but it'll probably depend a little bit on what kind of scene you decide upon. So now I'm taking that little strip of paper that I got out of my scrap box, and I am putting it through the slit that I just cut in the pocket frame card, and I have put that insert behind it. I'm just trying to line things up and to figure out how things are going to work. And so I know that strip is going to need to be placed on my insert card, probably not right at the edge, but very close to it. And you'll see how all this comes together in a few minutes. So I'm just using some double-sided tape. This is the first time I've used this Sue Wang tape, and I love it. If you've never used it before and you want to give it a try, just look down below, and I've listed all my materials there. So I'm lining up that strip, and I'm putting it on the insert panel itself. And then I'm going to put that strip through that slit from the back. And just make sure everything lines up well. So you can see that little sheep that is right above my insert, and that's what's going to go on that strip eventually, because that's the piece that's going to move on this slider card. So I have stamped and cut out and colored this barn with a silo, and I'm going to put it in the upper left hand corner of my frame. And it's actually going to be just slightly off of the frame on the left and top sides, and that works okay because all of this is going to get mounted on that card base. but you don't want to go too far off or it might not fit in the envelope. But I'm again using the double-sided tape, and you'll see how I am just placing it right above that, right above where I cut the slit in that pocket. And now I'm looking at my sheep and figuring out exactly how much of that strip I need, which won't be much, so you'll just trim it off. And again, use double-sided tape and whatever image, and it depends on your scene. In this case for me it's the sheep, but I'm going to use double-sided tape to put that sheep image on that strip of paper. And this is going to allow that sheep to move when that slider insert is pulled. So you really do need to figure out what you want your scene to look like before you start placing items on this pocket frame. So on this scene that I'm creating, I want the sheep to leave that barn and move over to the farmer. And so I need to put the farmer over to the right, near the edge. On another one of the cards that I made, I had a mouse with some blueberries move from one side of the card to another side of the card to feed those blueberries to another mouse. It's really cute. So you can create lots and lots of different scenes with these slider cards. Once you have all your elements taped to your pocket, take the entire slider and tape it to your base card, as you can see that I've done here. And I've got it pulled out so you can see my cute little chicken. And here are the other two cards, or all three of the cards that I've made with this design. I want to give a big thanks to Amy Ullin and the Card Maker Success Summit for the idea and inspiration for this project. Click like below and subscribe to my channel.